Hello and welcome to the harvest season. I have a name and it is Al.
I had a name once and it was Rochelle.
And we're here to talk about farming games.
Woo. Oh, my lungs.
How are you doing, Rochelle? You sound journey sick.
Let me tell you, I just went on vacation for 2 consecutive weeks.
2 consecutive weeks, as opposed to like one and then a break and then another.
Yeah, and it was exhausting, and I've been sick since June 3rd. What day is it right now?
It's Thursday.
Okay, what day is it right now?
It's the 20th of June.
So I've been sick for 17 days. Look at my life, look at my choices. How long have you been sick, Al?
Probably from a couple of days after, when was that, the 10th or whenever it was?
It was the 10th.
So probably been ill from about the 12th or something like that.
I'm so sorry. I know I was joking earlier that I'm sorry, not sorry, but I'm genuine sorry.
It gave me one of your foreign diseases.
Sorry. You should have taken a closer look at me when I came through customs.
For more reasons than one.
All right. So,
I do not know what I mean by that. Anyway.
I'll tell you my customs story later. Farming games.
So this is going to be probably another reasonably short episode. As you will know, Rochelle has been on holiday. We've not had a huge amount of time to organise things. We've certainly not had any time to properly play anything for the podcast. So we're going to start off with rambling, and then we don't have any feedback, but we will talk about the news. There's quite a bit of news, and then we're going to chat about the Doraemon Story of Seaons demo. And when you say we, I mean like I'm going to talk about it because I don't think Rochelle's played it at all. But you can ask me questions.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be great. Please be patient with me as I very slowly remember how to sleep when I'm supposed to sleep.
Yeah, and it's doubly confusing for you because obviously America is not actually that far behind the UK, but obviously you working night shifts means that it's basically a 12-hour shift for you.
Dude, I literally was waking up when I should have been going to bed.
Exactly.
My body is so confused. Forgive my tiredness. Thank you, dear listeners. I'm just assuming you're going to forgive me, so don't prove me wrong.
So, we're going to talk about what we've been playing as well, which I forgot about to mention the words. So, Rochelle, what have you been playing?
I just went on a 2-week vacation. I very intentionally did not bring things like electronics because I am better at this than my family. And I guess, technically, I've played nothing. I did write more than 100 pages of fan fiction. I don't know if that counts. And then as soon as I got back, I got back into the rhythm of playing Zombies Run, which I am obsessed with. This is the end of the Zombies Run discussion. You can't let me do it, Al.
Maybe another time.
Another time, when I'm awake.
Okay, yes.
What have you been playing?
I feel like I've picked up the slack. I've been playing too many things. I mean, I guess part of the issue is that it's been, 4 weeks since we recorded last?
Yeah.
So I have been playing, obviously, the Doraemon Story of Seaons demo. I have been playing some more Forager. It has gone quite insane up to this point. I think I'm pretty close to finishing everything in Forager. With the first run through anyway. And what else? Oh yeah, I've been playing a little bit of Littlewood, which we'll chat about a little bit later on.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's that.
That's pretty fun. Which is your favorite of the ones you just listed?
Oh, I don't know.
That is an acceptable answer.
Favorites I find are a difficult one, right? Because I find it really difficult to take everything together and say, this has pros and cons and this has pros and cons, therefore this one is better. And it really depends on the situation. What is better? So I'm not a huge fan of favorite questions in general, because it really just depends. It's like when people say, like, what's your favorite food? And it's like, I don't know, it depends. Like,
My favorite food is paneer tikka masala. I have a favorite human. I have a lot of favorite Pokemon. This is my 2 modes of favorites. I have 1 favorite or 1,000 favorites. Nothing in between. But we're not... Rochelle and Al talk about the philosophical existence of the concept of favoritism podcast.
Yes.
Good morning.
We are not that. Should we talk about some news?
I love news. We're not going to talk about blackcurrant.
I mean, I'm drinking blackcurrant juice right now.
Dude, blackcurrant is so good. I don't even know what it is, but it's so good, and we don't have it here.
I mean, it's a fruit.
I mean, I figured that.
It's a currant, which is black.
Okay. You know what? Fine.
I mean, it's hard to kind of explain. I guess it's kind of like a blueberry, but it's more nicer.
I promise this will be farm related. Just give me a second. The black currant is a woody shrub in the family, I'm not going to say that, known for it's a shrub. It's a shrub with berries. That tracks. Okay.
I mean, I think I only really know of the flavor in juice, which I don't think... And I'm using the Scottish term juice there, which refers to any drink that is not alcoholic and not hot. Always a fun one. It confuses people.
Do you know the first thing I ever tasted blackcurrant in?
Juice.
Cough drops.
Cough drops. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. You get blackcurrant ones of them.
Mm-hmm. So that's not a thing in USA.
Yeah.
And this has been your Cultural Differences Update with Rochelle. We may now continue to the news.
Let's talk about the news. Did you know that there's an update for Forager?
Did I? No. Do I now? Yes.
There is. It's called the Appreciation Update, and it's out now. It came out last week sometime, I think, but that's 2 weeks ago when you're hearing this. And it has a few features. The main one is that it's got some new game modes. So there's a single island challenge, which is where you try and get to level 65 without buying any more land, which if you've not played the game, you start with like a really small, I think it's like 8x8 piece of land. So, and there are 64 other ones, 64 in total that you can buy. So trying to get to level 65 on one piece of land is pretty difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And also a speedrun game mode, which I guess just puts a timer up, which is cool.
People like speedrunning things.
They do, and having an in-game timer is always useful, because then you don't have to set up a second tool to do it.
I mean, you can just go to the dollar store and buy like a kitchen timer.
Well, yeah, but if you're doing these things properly, it's all very specific, and they like there to be an in-game timer because then it's the same for everyone, rather than making sure that someone presses the button at the right time and stuff like that.
Fine.
Speedrunning is serious business, okay? People don't get into it just for the fun of it, or for any of the fun of it.
Serious business for serious gamers, which we all know I am not.
I have a friend called David, and he makes some games. He made a game called Rolly, which is a really good fun game. It's on the Pico 8. Have you played the Pico? Have you used the Pico 8?
No.
So it's basically a virtual console. It's kind of based on a sort of Game Boy type idea, but the idea is to get you used to developing on a console. So it's a completely virtual console. It's not like a virtual version of a physical one. It's just a completely virtual one. And it's kind of really simple, and it's got a bunch of editors in it. So it's got an audio and a sprite editor in it, and you can build up maps in it and stuff like that. And then it's got a code editor in it as well, and you can basically it's got everything in it that you need to make a game, and then you can export it as just like a standalone executable or whatever. And I think you can put them online as well. So it's really cool for kind of hobbyist games programming. Anyway, so he's made a couple of games on that, and one of them's called Rolly, and it's a good fun game. But he has a couple of people that have speedrun, who
Heatrand Rolly, right? That's where this is going.
Who speedran the game, which is cool.
That is cool.
People will speedrun anything,
dude. I don't know. I don't know if you can speedrun Animal Crossing.
Oh. You can, just it's not very fast.
This, I think it would probably take you at least, depending on your luck. Yeah, I mean, the absolute... Anyway, this is not a discussion on Animal Crossing.
Yeah, speedrunning is fun, and I will put a link to my friend's game in the show notes if anybody's interested. It's a good game.
Mm-hmm.
Other updates in the Forager Appreciation Update are there's weather. Why do I always have an issue with this word? There is weather in-game now.
You say it fine.
At this point, the weather is only visual, but in the future it will have effects in-game as well. There is a new carpentry station, which you can craft a bunch of decorative items, so obviously something that I will not do.
Boo! Decorating's my favorite part.
And there are a bunch of new settings, bunch of bug fixes and stuff as well. But those are the main things. I believe Foragers also has a sale to celebrate the update. I think it's 15% off on Steam.
Go check it out.
Have you heard of Harvest Moon before?
You know, it's a very obscure title, but I have heard of it once before, many years ago.
Do you know they've got a new game coming out?
What?
Did you know it's a cross between a farming game and a game like Overcooked?
What? Actually, I did not know that, because when people were talking about that, where was I? Was that around E3?
Yeah, that was at E3.
I was probably dying in a car on some country road, so...
Fair enough. I thought we talked about it, though. Did you not say you'd heard of it? Anyway.
I mean, I saw a little bit of it.
Harvest Moon Mad
The key
Dash.
factor there was that I was probably having a heart attack dying on a tiny country road with oncoming traffic with no internet access. That's the key factor there.
Fair enough. Anyway, they have a new game coming out called Harvest Moon Mad Dash. It's on Switch and PS4, and as I said, it's a crazy Overcooked style game where you have to work together to farm stuff. I don't know, it looks cool.
It looks cute. I don't know who I'm going to play it with.
Yeah, I don't know whether it has online or whether it's just local.
Because if it's just local, like, my humans aren't going to play that with me. Like, it's not Pokemon. It's not a horror game.
You need to get some physical humans that enjoy co-op games like that.
I like my humans.
You can have more humans.
One of them is even my favorite human.
Anyway, looks fun.
You could have more than one favorite human. It looks cute, though. I'm excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah. Comes out this year sometime. We don't have a date.
Mm-hmm. We'll let you know.
We will. Do you want to take the next one?
Do I want to take the next one? This is not a farming game in a literal sense.
It is a farming game. You farm it.
No, it's not.
This one seems more so a farming game.
Not Harvest Moon. Okay. I'm so tired. Animal Crossing New Horizons is Animal Crossing, one of my favorite games ever. I'm excited for the new one. I'm so excited. If anyone complains at me about it being delayed, don't. This is the only time I am inviting you to not talk to me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm about to go out on a tangent about this, but these sorts of things really annoy me, right? Because you look at, I think actually generally people are quite good about the Animal Crossing being delayed thing. I think some people are disappointed, but I don't think there are many people complaining about it actively, although obviously there are some. But it kind of just gets to me this whole idea that people have of getting frustrated when these things get delayed. And you know, we're obviously not a Pokemon podcast, but the Pokemon thing kind of goes into that as well, in that you kind of forget about the humans behind these games and just kind of think of the corporations as just this amorphous blob that spits out games. But the fact is that behind all these games are real people. And, you know, if you think that trying to get this done in a shorter time is, you know, oh, it's simple, they just get more people and it can be done faster. It doesn't work that way. You generally, as you increase team sizes, it becomes more difficult to actually do things in a timely manner because there are more people and more things moving around, and you end up either slowing down, not least because obviously if you're bringing new people on the team, you have to train them in what you've actually got. You know, these things are not simple. It's not, a developer can't just come onto a project and immediately know what they're doing on that project. It's not that simple. There are no standards for these things. They're quite often a mess, and there's a lot of weird niche things that they end up doing. And so trying to actually bring people on, you spend a lot of time training. So not only do you not get the benefit to start with, you actually lose it as well. You find that your productivity drops when you bring someone new on, because someone is actually taking time out to train them. And that then, obviously, in a short period of time like this, when people thought it was coming out this year, in the next 6 months, in 6 months' time, you're not going to manage to get a large number of people on and trained and still have enough time to then speed through, even if you ignore the fact that adding people on who would know the project wouldn't necessarily speed it up either, because testing takes longer, trying to get code in when things are conflicting takes longer. These sorts of things take a long time, and we're just pushing people to the edge when you do that sort of thing. And actually, you know, Nintendo have done a good thing here in saying, you know what, we're not going to manage to get it done without pushing people past the edge, and we're not willing to do that this time. That's good. That's something we should applaud and not be frustrated by.
I trust the Animal Crossing team with my life, and if they ask patience of me, I will gladly give it to them. I'm excited to live on a tiny desert island. You don't even know. I'm so excited.
You know, I'm actually quite, I think I'm going to buy this game. You know, we've talked, so we've talked about Animal Crossing quite a few times, and obviously I've talked about how I haven't really managed to properly get into Animal Crossing yet, playing New Leaf, and I played a little bit of Pocket Camp, but I know that's not anywhere near the same. And the thing is that I think some of the things that frustrate me about Animal Crossing, I think, are fixed in this new game. Not everything, obviously. The time system is the one thing that I know a lot of people really like about the game, but frustrates me a little bit, because sometimes, you know, like take for example, you know, when shops are only open for a certain period of time during the day, and if I'm busy throughout that whole time and I actually want to play it, you know, 11 o'clock at night or 6 in the morning, I can't go to the shop. You know, that's that sort of thing.
Ow.
Yes,
Ow.
Rochelle.
Just offset the time in your game.
Yeah, but the problem is, right, that presuming that Animal Crossing works like most other 3DS games, in that if you do that, you don't get the time-based things for 24 hours.
No. There is an in-game function to change the time.
What?
Yeah, so when you're first starting the game up, Isabel is like, this is the time, right? And you can be like, no. And she'll be like, I'm so sorry. I'm Isabel. What's the time? And you can put it in. You don't even have to change your DS clock.
Can you change that once you've already done that, though?
At any time, I'm pretty sure. But like what I do is, because I work nights and no shops are open when I come home from work at 2, 3 in the morning, I just like permanently offset it so that it hits 11 o'clock, I think, at my bedtime. And so if the shops close, I know I need to go to bed. So, like, you can just do that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess... Sure, fine, okay, great.
But I'm picking up what you're putting down.
It doesn't change the fact that I'm still not a humongous fan of how that works. And obviously, I'm not expecting that to change.
No, the real timeness of it is a core aspect of the series.
Yes. So I'm not expecting that to change. I'm hoping that I can enjoy it despite that. And I know a lot of people enjoy it because of that. And that's fine. I'm not trying to say that they're wrong or anything like that, or it should change. I'm not expecting that. I'm just saying that I think that's kind of the one real thing that I look at and go, well, this is kind of not going to change, but everything else that frustrates me about New Leaf looks like it's probably going to change, which is good. I mean, to me, it just looks a lot more sandboxy and a lot more like it's going to come out in 2020 and not it came out 6 or 7 years ago. Well, yes, that too. But, you know, things that, if they hadn't changed, I don't think it would have been a bad thing. It's just kind of design choices, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. Anyway,
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
I want to enjoy Animal Crossing, and I hope that I do. And I love the look of the desert island.
I'm so excited. I have wanted my own island ever since the GameCube one, where you could hook up your Game Boy Advanced and you could go to this little tiny island It's going to be so great.
So yeah, new Animal Crossing, March 2020.
Animal Crossing.
20th of March 2020.
2020.
Why couldn't they have done it in February? Then it'd be 20th of the 2nd, 2020.
Turn your Animal Crossing on for 20 seconds. Turn it off for 4 seconds. Oh, March is the third month, right? January,
It is.
February, March. Turn it off for 3 seconds. Turn it on for 2020 seconds. Turn it off for 3 seconds.
I don't think people are going to get this reference. Maybe a few will.
I promise. If somebody understands this reference, I need you to tweet at me. Thank you.
It was very funny.
Thanks.
I meant the original thing.
Oh.
I mean,
Burn.
it was a very funny reference, for sure.
I'm dying. Help.
Speaking of dying, Littlewood is now out on early access on Steam.
And is also not dead.
It is not dead, but the evil wizard is dead.
Oh, I
'Cause-
see what you were doing there.
Yeah, there we go.
I can't believe I didn't get that till you said it out loud. I really am.
You're asleep. It's okay. So if you haven't heard us talk about Littlewood before, it's a farming game. It's really nice.
The premise is that you save the world and defeat the evil wizard, and then the game starts.
And you have amnesia, which is completely new for a farming game.
I love it when you have amnesia.
Great premise. We should have
It's
more
so
games like that.
Okay, right now at this very moment, I know this is not Littlewood related, but I would like to start a betting pool. I need everybody to tweet me with their bets on whether or not you will start Rune Factory 5 with amnesia. Thank you.
Anyway, so Littlewood's out. Me and Rochelle, we have been given codes for the game by the developer. Thank you, Sean.
Thank you.
I've played it a little bit. I presume you've not had any time to play it yet.
I haven't had time to go to the grocery store.
So Rochelle has not played it yet. I've played a little bit of it, although nowhere near as much because, I mean, it only came out 2 days ago as of recording time. But yeah, we will be probably covering this in a future episode. We're not going to talk about it this time.
I need a chance to play it. Look, I literally flew back for 26 consecutive answers and then went to bed and then woke up and went to work. It's been a week.
Cool. So that's Littlewood. Go and look it up if you want to. We'll obviously have a link in the show notes if you want to get it.
Do you know who else has had a week?
No. I don't know where you're going with this.
The stranded sales? I tried. Okay, I'm sorry. I am not on my A game today.
Yes, as Rochelle was alluding to, I found another game called Stranded Sails, which is due to come out later this year. It's a farming game, and you're on an island, which has obviously never happened before. But what's cool, I think, about this one is you get a boat, and you can
I love boats.
sail around in a boat.
I love boats.
I like boats as well. It's also, I really like its graphics are kind of very simple. So I'd say that they were kind of quite flat textures, but it looks really nice. I like the look of it. There are apparently mysteries deep in the heart of the islands that you have to uncover and solve, and with the aim of apparently escaping the island.
I love mysteries.
Mysteries are cool.
Mysteries are so good. Like the mystery of what's going on under Able Township. Nope, I'm not allowed to talk about this. We're moving on.
You can also wear a fedora in this game, which is something I noticed.
In Stardew Valley, you can put a fedora on your horse.
Sure, but are you on an island?
I mean, maybe if you do the river farm,
Well,
you can stand on an island.
well, the correct answer is maybe. We don't know.
You're right.
You don't get a very zoomed out view of it.
You are not wrong, sir. Headcanon. Stardew Valley is on an island.
On an island.
No one can convince me otherwise.
I mean, it would explain a lot of things.
Would it?
Yeah.
Would it?
Yeah.
Like?
Like, why do people only come and buy your things once a day? It's because there's one boat a day.
No, it's because the mayor only picks up your shipment box once a day.
Yeah, at midnight? I think not. Come on, you know he is not that. He doesn't have that work ethic to go there at midnight.
Should
Come
I
on.
say this? Oh, he is out at midnight. He probably picks it up on his way back from Marnie's house.
I mean, that would work if your farm was on the way between their houses.
It can be.
A very long way round. He either has to walk through the entirety of your farm or walk past his house to get to your box.
Okay, but like, have you considered?
Look, I hope
Maybe
he's not
he
just
likes-
wandering through my farm randomly at night. That's just weird.
Honestly though, stranger things happen in that game.
That's very
Anyway,
true. That's very true.
get your fedora, get your boat, play Stranded Sails.
Although not
in
yet,
Q4.
because it's not out yet. But yes, this year sometime.
Hmm.
And finally, in our news section, I have no idea whether these will still be around by the time you actually hear this episode, but there are some sales on some games, which I thought it might be nice to mention. So Trio of Towns and Stardew Valley and Forager all have sales.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've been looking for an excuse to buy one of them, go do it now.
Go, go, go.
And I'm very sorry if the sale's already over by the time you
We
hear
did our
this.
best for you.
Yeah. Well, no, we didn't, because I could have checked. But I didn't, so there we go. Maybe we'll become more professional at some point.
We have never been known as a source of fast-acting news.
Look, we already tweeted this, so there we go. Follow our Twitter.
Done. At THS Pod.
At THS, The Harvest Season Pod.
It's not even the end of the episode. Look at us getting plugs in.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
real life adult podcasters.
Yes, because we are old.
I am?
Yeah, we're not young anymore.
Oh, right. Yes, I'm old and I don't know what the kids like, and
The young people.
I have yet to achieve my life goal of being a nerdy gamer cat lady. So we'll see. Retirement is a few years away yet. So
Did you know that the youngest millennials are 23? Today's fun fact.
how many years younger than me is that?
Not many. I can't remember.
How old am I? I was like, I don't have time for this today. It's okay, I'm getting a calculator.
Oh, wait, you're actually asking. I thought you were testing me.
I mean, do you know how old I am?
You're in your second half of 20s, I think? I can't remember. We've had this discussion before, but I'm terrible at remembering things.
Everyone always thinks I'm older than I am.
When were you born?
I think I'm turning 28 this year.
Right. So you were born in 91.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Like a month after Beauty and the Beast came out.
Why is that? Why is that how you... Okay, no.
Do you want the answer to that? Because I
don't-
have the answer to that.
I don't know. Do I?
I don't know.
Let's
It's
see.
just...
Let's see. Let's find out, shall we?
Well, as the story goes, when I was a very small child, I was very loud and obnoxious. And
I can't imagine
you-
that.
and the only surefire way to get me to shut up would be my family would put me in a little playpen in front of a television, and they would put in the VHS for Beauty and the Beast, and I would just watch it in silence many times in a row.
Fair enough.
And that's my story of Beauty and the Beast. Also, I just happen to know that random trivia fact. Also, did you know I was at the opening screening of Jurassic Park?
Like the original one?
Yeah,
Okay. I mean, you must have been a baby.
I was. I dreamt about dinosaurs for like the first 10, 20 years of my life.
I mean, this just brings up questions, but I don't think I want to ask them just now.
My brother was even younger when he was there. Sometimes you just can't afford the babysitter and you have to see the dinosaur movie, Al.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
This has been Movie Facts with Rochelle.
Speaking of dinosaurs, Shall we talk about Doraemon Story of Seaons demo?
Let's do it.
So, as we mentioned earlier in the episode, the Doraemon Story of Seaons demo is out in Japan. And the great thing about the Switch is it is region unlocked. So you can get anything from any of the eShops on your Switch. The only thing you have to do is create an account that is linked to that country. So for science and for why not, I created a Japanese account on my Switch and I downloaded the demo and I tried to play it.
How are you doing this?
It is very much in Japanese.
I figured, as is well known by now, I do not speak Japanese.
Neither do I.
So tell me your secrets.
Well, there's a great feature on Android phones where you can bring up Google Lens and point it at something and it will translate it in real time.
What?
So I played this game basically through my phone screen.
What?
Well, I mean, some of the time I just put it down and just pressed A and see what happened. But there were multiple times where I got stuck and I had to translate
No,
it.
but wait, phones can do that?
Yeah.
Is this a Google thing?
Yeah. What? I know you have an Android phone. Which one is it?
I have an LG Stylo 3.
No idea whether that will have the right stuff or not. But
Probably not. It's a cheap phone.
So do you know how to go into searching on Google not through the browser?
Is this a Google thing?
It is a Google thing, yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
So if you go into Google...
No.
I'm confused.
Google is evil.
Oh, okay.
I literally admitted like 20 minutes ago that I use DuckDuckGo.
Yeah,
Give me
I
a
know.
break.
I know. Okay, well, it's a Google thing.
DuckDuckGo.
But yeah,
Okay.
There's an app called Google Lens, which is built into Google Assistant. And it has
Who
a
I
mode.
hate.
It has a translate mode, which if you point at something, it will translate whatever's on the screen.
That's amazing and terrifying.
Yeah, so that's how I played
Which
this
is about how I feel about Google in general.
game. That's a very fair point. So obviously, that being said, it's probably important to point out that everything I say is through the lens, Google Lens, the lens of language translation, and obviously Google's translation of things are never quite the same as how a human would translate it, so there's probably many things that I missed, and things that might have been confusing for me may well have just been down to language. So bear that all in mind when we talk about this. It's obviously not fully fair to judge a game based on it being in a different language. That being said, I very much enjoyed the demo. It was good fun. It has made me more hyped for this game.
Yeah? Tell me about it.
So, I mean, I've literally just thrown a whole bunch of thoughts into this document, and I'm really not sure where to start. Let's start with the tutorial, because I guess that's the first bit. As people will probably know, based on what I've said, I'm never a huge fan of tutorials. I generally find that they tend to be a bit boring, and it's what puts me off games quite easily, because I have a short attention span. This one wasn't too bad. I feel like it was probably more than it needed to be, but that's probably due to the fact that it's a demo, and so there's a lot more kind of story stuff they're skipping over. So it starts off with a video of how Doraemon, or Nobu, I think the character is that you play as. Nobu, is that?
No.
Do you know?
No, I
That's how
don't.
it's said? Anyway.
We've been over this, Al. I don't speak Japanese.
Anyway. I don't know which of these. I think some of the characters are from the Doraemon series, but I don't know which ones. Obviously, Doraemon is, I think he's the blue cat, I'm presuming. I apologize to any Japanese people or any other non-Japanese fans of Doraemon, because I do not understand the cultural significance of it. But anyway, so the introduction is how this all happens, and it looks like Nobu plants a seed of some sort that grows into this large tree, which then something happens and you get sucked into a void and into this village, which you are now living in, and this is where the game takes place. So Nobu and Doraemon and Nobu.
I don't know. I just looked up the characters page on the fandom wiki for Doraemon.
Anyway, that character and Doraemon and some others, I believe, as well, from the series are all sucked in and have to kind of blend in to the village, I think. It's quite hard to tell, as I say, because of the language barrier. After that, you go through a short tutorial on farming and stuff like that. All the sort of things that if you've played farming games before, you understand. But it gives you, it quickly goes over the different buttons. One thing I would say is it feels very over the top in terms of when you get told to do something. If you press any wrong button or point in the wrong direction when you're pressing the button, you immediately get shouted at and there's a small cutscene and then you get reset back to where you were. So like if you go with your hoe to hoe a part of the field, which is what they ask you to do initially, if you do that, but you miss where you're meant to do it and you do it to the side, then they shout at you and reset you back, and it can be a little bit jarring. But other than that, it's a reasonably good tutorial. It's not too long, it's not too boring, and it kind of just quickly goes over the different things. So it goes over tilling the ground, planting seeds, watering, putting on fertilizer, picking up crops, and then selling them on as well. All in a kind of standard way that you'd expect from a farming game. I guess one of the things that I really liked about it is the way that watering works is really interesting, in that in most farming games that I've played, you can correct me if there are any that do it like this, but I don't think there are. And normally what happens is you water and then it grows overnight. The way that it works here is it grows when you water it. So you'll wake up in the morning and it will be exactly as you left it, and then you water it, and if it's meant to change what it looks like, it will grow. Obviously, it doesn't grow every time you water it, just like it doesn't grow every time overnight. But yeah, the first time you water it, it goes from the seed straight into like a green plant, which I really love, because this idea of seeing it happen as you do it is a much better, I think, user experience, because you're kind of, it's like this visual feedback is much more obvious than just the ground getting slightly darker.
Well, it may be visually appealing, but it's not accurate, because everyone knows plants never grow when you look at them.
Yeah, I mean, they also don't grow in a week.
I'm sorry. That was not a serious comment. I actually like that a lot.
I know. I think it's great. I think it's possibly one of the most exciting things I think about this game, which is maybe a bit sad that I find that most exciting.
No, but those kind of little things can make a big difference in like how you experience the game. Like, never underestimate the value of tiny quality of life things.
Yeah, so I really like that. I think that's probably all I've got to talk about the tutorial. They kind of just go over the different tools and stuff like that. And then, well, no, this was part of the tutorial as well. So then you bump into what's called the Anywhere door. I don't know whether it's going to have a different name in English, because all of the stuff around it is in Japanese, obviously. But this is an interesting thing where it's basically a teleportation door, so you can click on it and you can teleport to anywhere in the village.
What?
Yeah, well, I mean, specific areas, right?
Well, yeah,
so not
but
like to any square, but it's still pretty cool. Like, you can say, I want to go to the mine, or I want to go to this part of the village with these houses or whatever.
Okay,
it's
but
kind of broken up into smaller sections.
do you have to pay to use it?
Actually, I don't know. I don't think so. I didn't see anything about that, but equally, I could have missed it.
Trio of Towns had something like that, but you had to pay to use it every time.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible that that's the case, and it's also possible that it doesn't unlock till later on, because obviously this is the demo. They're trying to show you things to.
That's really cool, though. Oh man, I love that.
They don't. I like how they didn't even like try and pretend it was like some thing. It's literally just a magic door. So that's quite cool. And you then bump into, I assume, another Doraemon character. He looks like an evil character. He's in a dark black suit, and an evil hat. You know the type of hat I'm talking about. I may be just reading into it, but I presume he is.
Is it a fedora?
I legitimately can't remember, because, as we've discussed, we don't have any visual memory. I'm
just like, I don't know. The hat is evil. I know nothing else about this. I'm not sure I know what an evil hat looks like. Hashtag aphantasia problems.
Through that. I can't remember. And
Hold up.
My Google foo is failing.
Hold up. I'm pulling up the list of characters.
Yeah, I'm not recognizing the name.
Is it Black Mask? Oh, gosh. Does he have, like, a face mask?
I don't think so.
I don't know. I just am looking at... Oh, man. Do you remember Cyborg 009? Okay. Well, if you remember Cyborg 009, my favorite anime from my childhood, please @ me on Twitter.
Sorry, have I failed you
No,
again?
it's fine. I was expecting that one. Anyway, the bad guy in that one is called Black Ghost.
Oh, okay.
And I was just like, oh, it's a creepy guy in a mask with the word black in his 2-word name. That reminds me of my childhood, where Black Ghost created a series of cyborg soldiers. And anyway, it's fine. Don't worry about it. That's a really old one, actually. I think the manga for that was made in like the late 50s, early 60s. And I think
Nice.
it had an anime made in the 60s. It had a bunch of things made. I think the one I grew up with was early aughts, an early aughts remake. Anyway, that's not related to any of this.
It's like a black top hat.
Is it a top hat? Like where it's a cylinder
Yes.
on top of a saucer? Like
Yes. I'm trying to look through the website, but the problem is that much of the website is images, so it won't translate.
Mhm.
Annoyingly. Oh, I can use that app on my phone.
Oh, look at you.
I was just talking about.
What is this Guardians of the Galaxy page on this wiki? I don't even know anything about Guardians of the Galaxy, but... Oh, this is cute! They're wearing, like, superhero outfits. Oh, I don't know what's going on, and I don't understand any of this, but this is cute.
Oh, right, okay. His name is Yami or something. I don't know how it's pronounced. And apparently he's the mayor of the town.
No! Al,
He
no!
does not look... I told... This... Right, okay,
No.
look. Right, I'm going to send you...
You made
I'm gonna
assumptions
send
based
you-
on wardrobe choices.
Look. Right. You don't you judge me, right? I'm going to send you this image of him, and you tell me he doesn't look like a clearly evil character, right? You look at this image that I've just sent you in Skype.
He doesn't look evil?
No, right. Look, no, not look at the in-game
I
bit
think he
of
looks
it,
angry.
right? Look at his face. He just looks
He
evil.
looks angry.
Yes.
Are all angry people evil?
No.
Ow. I like his hat. I was imagining a much shorter top hat.
Oh, it's very tall.
I was going to make a joke, but we are a family-friendly podcast.
Anyway, moving away from my biases against the town mayor.
Poor mayor. To be fair,
You meet the mayor.
listeners, he does have a goatee, which is the universal sign of I am evil. So,
Oh dear.
if we're going to go, we're going to go all the way.
Let's move on. So one thing that I thought was really cool is you can go to your bed and you can ask to sleep until a specific point in the day.
I love that.
So you can either go, I want to sleep till the next day, or just say, I want to sleep till 11 or whatever.
I
which is
love
pretty cool.
that.
It's pretty cool.
When's the last time I remember being able to do something like that? In Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, you could get an alarm clock and set it to wake you up at a specific time every morning, but it's only like one time, once a day. Like,
I don't know whether you can do it multiple times in a day. I didn't try that.
I guess what I mean is like, if you set it to wake you up at 11 a.m. and you go to bed at noon, it's going to wake you up at 11 a.m. the next day. If you go to bed at 9 a.m., it's going to wake you up at 11 a.m. the next day. Does that make sense?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think you do it when you choose to go to bed. So I don't know whether if you went to bed at midday and you said 11, I don't know whether it would wake you up the next day at 11 or whether it would wake you up in the morning.
We will keep you informed, dear listeners.
Yeah, I need to try again to figure all these things out. Which leads us on to the next thing, which is the demo doesn't have any saving, so I have no idea how saving works in the actual game.
Oh.
So you have to just play through the demo and then finish, and you have to start again if you want to like quit out the game at all. I mean, it's fine. It doesn't take a huge amount of time to get started in demo. You have to redo the tutorial again, but you can skip all of the cutscenes, which is useful. But you still have to do the tutorial. Although, actually, I think I seem to remember there, before each of the bits of tutorial, you could say, don't tell me about that. And I presume that would then skip that bit of the tutorial.
But you still have to every bit.
Yeah, so I think it's like 3 or 4 times you have to say, no, I don't want to know about that. It's not like everything like, oh, I don't want to know about hoeing. Oh, I don't want to know about planting the seeds. I think it's, I don't want to know about the farming bit. I don't want to know about selling stuff. I don't want to know about this bit. I can't remember. There was another bit. So you have to do that multiple times, but it's not as bad as it could be. It's useful being able to skip those bits, which is good. But I love the you can actually skip cutscenes, because obviously in Trio of Towns you could get it to automatically advance text, but you couldn't actually skip the cutscene.
Yes, for the most part. There's a few little things that you can skip, but it's not like this is a cutscene. It's like you can skip the shop's opening.
Yeah. Whereas I think, from what I could tell in the demo, it's basically any cutscene you can just say, nah, I just want to skip it, which is especially useful for playing through the demo multiple times. But yeah, so I don't know how you save in the game. I presume it will be like Trio of Towns and you can save any time, but I may have missed it. I don't know. I couldn't see anything, and I don't know whether it automatically did it on bed like other games, because obviously when I closed the game and opened it again, it was back to the beginning because there is no saving. So that's just a complete unknown at this point. I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon, because I think the game's out in Japan now. So I presume we'll find out soon. I'm obviously not going to buy the game in Japanese. That's a bit too far.
I think we can wait till it comes out in the US. It shouldn't be terribly long. Did we have a release date? I can't remember.
It was autumn, I think. We don't have an exact date.
Yeah, that's not terribly long, though.
No. And there are plenty of games to play before then. So I guess a few other things. Obviously, this is one town, because it's not Trio of Towns. But the town does seem pretty big. It looks like it probably has about the same sort of amount of stuff in it as Trio of Towns, just it's one town. There are I think there are less people, but the actual just size of the town is probably about the same as the 3 combined.
Yeah.
Which makes sense, I guess. There are some other Doraemon characters that come through with you. If I'm reading the Japanese website correctly, it's Nobu or Nobitu or whatever his name is, Doraemon and 3 others that come through, and the rest are just villagers in the village or town, however they want to say it.
If any of our listeners are Doraemon fans, please tweet at us.
Yeah, we want to know what the culture is around it and why it matters. Like, why is this happening? Why are they making a Doraemon Story of Seasons game? There obviously is a reason. I mean, it's
not the first time they've ever done a crossover.
Yeah. What have the other crossovers been? Can you remember?
Return to some Opolis. Just a sec. I can never get this right because there's a lot of O's and P's involved.
I think the other crossovers were Japan only, were they not? Is this the first one?
No.
No, they're not? Okay. I thought you'd said that in a previous one, but maybe I imagined that.
Scrolling through Wikipedia. Return to Popolocroy, A Story of Seasons Fairy Tale, which is a crossover with Popolocroy, which is a manga series and role-playing video game and 2 animes.
Fair enough. Yeah, so if you know and like Doraemon, tell us why. Are you excited about it?
I am, actually.
Good. I'm sure I'll have more in the future because I'm definitely going to play it through again. I accidentally, the first time I played it, just slept through the whole demo.
No.
Just because I was testing out how the bed worked, and just through that, I was about to go do something. I got out of bed and it was like, oh, that's the end of the demo. And I was like, oh, okay. I guess I got to do that again then. I was having too much fun sleeping. That's
hilarious and delightful. That is the Alice thing I think I've ever heard.
So, I guess another couple of Another few thoughts. The farm seems pretty big. I don't know whether that's in a state where everything is already unlocked or whether there aren't unlocks. I'm not sure. It's an interesting layout because, unless I'm misremembering, there were other houses in your farm. Or I guess not in your farm, but it's not. So with Trio of Towns and with Stardew and stuff like that, your farm is like a separate map that you get to from the other bits of the town or village.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this is kind of built into an area that other people have houses.
You live in a neighborhood.
Essentially, yeah. You're
oh my gosh, this is like my dream come true.
And the people are kind of walking around and amongst your farm as well. So yeah, I mean, that seems like it could be an interesting new twist on things. I don't know whether that will lead to something interesting or whether it's literally just world building. Like, I don't know whether there's some mechanics of people could trample your crops or whatever. It might just be making it seem more real. There are people walking around. I don't know.
In the classic Rochelle's first farming game, Animal Crossing: A Wonderful Life, you actually share your farm. I think it's your dad. Is it your dad or your grandpa? It doesn't matter. Your family unit's old farming buddy lives on the farm with you. And also, it's in the same, like, map area as, like, the whole town. So, like, you can walk out of... But it's not like it's physically separated, but it's not separate map areas. Does that make sense?
I think so, yeah. There's
Like,
not there's not like a loading between the two.
No.
You just walk straight from one to the other and you can see it.
There's just a little ridge with a path in it.
Yeah.
And then you walk out the little ridge and then you're next to the inn, which is where Nami lives. Choice marriage candidate. Anyway, I mean, you have 3 options in that game, so.
So the other thing I noticed is that stamina is quite hidden in the game. It's like in a menu option, which seems a little bit of an odd choice to me. Initially, I thought there just was no stamina, which I thought was odd as well because I couldn't see it anywhere on the screen. And then I went to Fogu and they were saying there that it's in the menu. So that seems like a bit of an odd choice to me. It might be that this is just a demo thing, or it might be there's something extra that you get in game to make it more obvious. Because my worry, I guess, about this is you could accidentally faint if you're not paying attention as much.
That would not be unusual for the series.
Oh, really?
Really.
Interesting.
In a lot of games, you just have to, like, you give signs, like, actually, to use as an example, Rochelle's classic starter game. You don't have a stamina bar or anything, but when you start getting tired, you have a particular animation, and when you're exhausted, your character has a particular animation it goes through.
Right, yes.
And you're supposed to just pay attention.
Okay.
But there's not like a bar or anything that you can watch as you go.
Yeah, I don't know. I get that, but I also find it I think I'll find that a bit frustrating, but maybe I'll get used to it. We'll see.
I mean, I didn't say that it was a good idea.
Yeah, well, fair. Well, we'll see what happens. I mean, it's not, if that is the case in the game, it's not kind of enough to ruin it. It's just, no game's perfect. That's fine.
And this is just a demo in another language.
Yes, yeah, exactly. So it may well be different from the actual game because obviously it can't be exactly the same as the game. And it may well have been cut from like an earlier version of the game, these sorts of things. So there may well have been changes between the demo and this. So we'll see what happens. The other thing, of course, is that there is another 5 or 6 months before it comes out here. So obviously they may well have updates between now and then, which hopefully won't take much translating, and so might be ready at go live in English. We'll see. There might not be updates, but it's obviously never been easier to update a game. We'll see what happens. And the final point, which I'm really excited about, is the mine is a proper exploratory mine. It's not like the mine nodes in Trio of Towns. You go into the mine and you can mine stuff inside the mine. which
And you
I
love
like.
mining.
I do. I like mining.
You know what my favorite mine was? In the Rochelle's classic beginner game. There wasn't a mine, but there was an archaeological dig. And you would go and dig stuff up. And you would... And Carter was literally the second worst archaeologist ever. Maybe just behind Indiana Jones. And like, literally, if you dug up anything, he'd be like, you could just take that home, it's worthless. Unless you found like a specific stone tablet. And I'm just like, dude, I'm taking home gold coins, I'm taking home ancient pottery. What is wrong with you?
Oh dear.
He was very bad at his job.
Yeah, cool. So I'm excited about the mine. I think that was probably one of the biggest things that annoyed me about Trio of Towns was the weird way you did mining and the fact that it was so limited. You know, if I want to spend my entire day using up all my stamina digging in a mine, I should be able to.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think it's quite... I quite enjoyed playing the demo. It obviously, as I said, was in Japanese, so that was quite an interesting way to play a game for the first time. I wouldn't necessarily recommend that people do it because it obviously involves setting up a Japanese account and then downloading it and then playing in another language. If you know Japanese, then obviously I'd probably do it because it's a good way to see how the game actually plays. Oh, that was the other thing that you've probably noticed from the demos. It is grid-based, but it's... What's the word for that style of grid? It's like not straight on to the camera. It's like a 45-degree angle out. No, 90... Yeah, 45-degree angle out. So you're kind of walking diagonally, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of quite a common style of grid. But it's obviously different to how Trio of Towns was, because that camera was it didn't have a grid really, did it? So it doesn't. But I think what's quite nice is it doesn't feel griddy. It's not like you press a button, you walk a whole grid. But it's I guess the crops work kind of more how you'd expect from if you're used to Stardew Valley. It's kind of like one square, one crop, and smaller squares rather than the way that Trio of Towns did it, which was the big 3x3 crop section. So I guess that if you're doing it that way, the kind of grid makes more sense, and the being at a 45-degree angle is quite a pleasing angle because you're not just like all these straight lines from you into the distance sort of thing. So yeah, I quite like it. I'm quite excited about the game. I'm sure that I'll be buying it when it comes out, and I presume you will be as well, Rochelle. And we can chat about it at some point once Rochelle's actually played it as well.
Yeah, I'll get there. I just came back from vacation.
So if you have any questions about it, feel free to ask me, or go on to Fogu. I know Fogu have done quite a bit of write-up about it.
Reporting on it. Fogu has been my favorite site for years.
And unlike me, they actually know Japanese. Or at least some level of understanding.
Better than us.
Yeah, definitely. That's not hard.
We set a low bar.
Yeah, so if you want to ask me any questions about it, and I will play through the demo again, I'm sure. I am at the ScottBot on Twitter. That's Scott with one T. Rochelle, where can we find you?
Not ordering Indian food right now. I am at Miss Delaney with 2 L's.
2 L's.
2
and 2 S's.
L's.
You can, as mentioned earlier, follow the podcast on Twitter at THSPod. And, if you actually want farming news when it actually happens, we retweet many things.
Mm-hmm.
And
by we, he means I.
Oh, how dare you? How very dare you, Rochelle?
I mean, let's be fair. You do the majority of the social media work.
Yeah.
You can cut that if you want.
I don't know. We'll see what mood I'm in when I edit.
I think the biggest issue is that I have 3 Twitter accounts and I get very confused about what I'm seeing when. It's just like, here's your notification. And could I look at the top of the notification to see what account it's for? Yes. Do I? No.
See, I have them all on TweetDeck, right? And I
What is that?
What is TweetDeck?
Yeah.
It's just a different interface to Twitter. So it's got columns instead of just one long thing. So I have a column for each account's notifications.
Is this only on desktop?
Yes.
That's why I strictly Twitter on my
Yeah.
phone.
They used to have an Android app, but they got bought by Twitter, and Twitter went, we don't need an Android app. And everyone went, well, no, we kind of liked that.
That tracks.
But at least they didn't get rid of the web app.
At THS Pod.
At THS Pod. Shout at us about why we're wrong. Tell us why Doraemon is important and how I have insulted your culture by pronouncing things incorrectly or whatever I've done wrong, because I've probably done something wrong. I apologize in advance.
Tweet at us and tell us all of your feelings about Jurassic Park, Zombies Run, and Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life. And also anything else you want to say.
No complaining about games that are being delayed.
No.
Or that don't have all of the content that you might like.
No.
You can also email us from our website, harvestseason.club.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's everything.
So until
Thank
next
you for
time,
listening.
we're grade A podcasters.
Thank you for listening. And until next time, have a good harvest.
Oh my gosh, you did it! I'm so proud of you!
The Harvest Season is created by Rochelle Delaney and Al McKinley. Our art is done by Micah the Brave, and our music is done by Nick Burgess. Feel free to visit our website, theharvestseason.club, for show notes, including links to things we discussed and transcripts for every episode. Thanks for listening.
No one will ever know the poem that I just accidentally made.
What even are poems? They're just words.
I mean, I have a dictionary and a philosophical answer to that, and I don't know if it's that time of day yet.
Because I feel like anyone can take any words really and call it a poem, and you can't really say it's not.
I mean, you can make anything a poem, and you just make a shitty poem.
I like cheese.
Mine rhymed.
Poems don't have to
you.
rhyme.
No, they don't have to, but that was neat. I didn't mean for that to happen.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
That's the only thing in what I just said that would have qualified it as poetic.